Good evening, Fernwood. My name's Neil. Thank you so much for joining me on week 6 of my trip through the entire series of Mary Hartman. Mary Hartman, the subversive and cult classic soap opera from the 1970s. Let's name all of our major players. We're starting in a neighborhood in Fernwood, Ohio that is not known for being very wealthy. Our main family are Tom and Mary Hartman and their daughter Heather, who doesn't show up that much, but she's their family. Next door to them are Loretta and Charlie Haggers, who up until recently were their next door neighbors. Then next door to them are the Shumways, who are Mary's parents, along with Kathy, who is Mary's sister, and Grandpa Larkin, otherwise known as the Fernwood Flasher. Somewhere else in the neighborhood, we have the Fetters, who are Blanche and Coach Leroy Fetters. That's who's going to be in this show. Well, there are some other characters, but let's get on to some of the major stories. Let's start with the primary relationship in this show, and that would be Mary and Tom Hartman. Mary and Tom have been married for over a decade, but within the last 8 weeks, or before the show began, because we're at week 6 of the show and time moves pretty slowly on the show, Tom has not been giving sexual attention to Mary, and that's been really, really hard on her. We don't hear the words stated, but Tom seems to be suffering from some kind of erectile dysfunction, at least as regards Mary, and that's really, really tough on the relationship. In the meantime, though, while Tom was trying to prove his manliness, he cheats on Mary with a woman named May that he works with. Mary, on the other hand, has been getting attention from a handsome young police officer named Sergeant Foley. She has had a makeout session or two with the man, and Tom figured that out, and that led to a big fight, after which Mary and Tom did the deed. They got together, they hooked up, they sexified, they did all of the things. And the result of their making love, having the sex, as we say nowadays, Tom finds out from May that he potentially has been exposed to a sexually transmitted disease, or what they would have called in 1976 VD. Grandpa Larkin, the Fernwood Flasher, is still going out with Roberta, his counselor. That's icky because she's a counselor, and, that's not how things should go. Kathy, who we haven't seen in more than a week, was last in love with a handsome young man named Steve. He is deaf and mute. George and Martha don't approve of either of those relationships, but to be honest, it's none of their business. And then another tiny story, which we haven't really seen much of, Blanche and Coach Fetters. They have a daughter who's run away. We don't know what's going on with them other than they're kind of sticks in the mud, and the daughter wants to have less stick mud experience. And another big story is Loretta and Charlie. They were on the road to Nashville to start Loretta's music career. They had packed up their house and moved, and some shenanigans happen. I don't really want to get into all of them, but the last most important thing is that on their way out of town, they had a massive car accident with a station wagon full of nuns strewn out on the highway. It was pretty gross. And last episode, as she was recovering from the car crash, we find out that the doctor made a big, humongous mistake. Instead of being pregnant like Loretta has thought she has been for at least a couple of weeks, she had a fibroid tumor. I don't know who makes that kind of mistake in the medical field. Maybe it's happened in the real world, but it's pretty outlandish to me. That is your wrap-up for the show. Let us get started for February 9th, 1976's episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman.
Sweetheart. Honey, please.
Aren't you going to kiss me loud?
Well, I think I'm coming down with a cold.
I'll risk it.
Oh, no, honey, no. Remember, it's flu season. Okay?
You with May, something happened.
No, nothing happened.
Tom, she called you up at 2 o'clock in the morning and said she had to see you. What did she want to see you about?
Listen, is there any coffee?
What's going on?
Nothing.
Tom, something's wrong. Were you in an accident? The car got hit up, right?
No, honest. Just some coffee. Where's the saccharin?
Saccharin? We don't use saccharin ever. Oh, it's really something horrible, isn't it?
You know, Mary, you don't look too good, you know?
I don't? I've been using a new moisturizing cream.
You look upset.
I know. I've been watching television.
I mean, the soap opera with a girl who murders her lover because she has amnesia.
Right, and now she's going blind. Why aren't you telling me about May?
Well, it's kind of personal. Well, personal to her, Mary. I mean, she had a lot of things to say to me that were,
Yeah.
well, they were very hard for her to say. You know, she's not a happy woman.
But, I mean, I can understand why she's not a happy woman. Because our marriage is still together.
Hey, remember, Mary, I may have the flu.
It is back together, isn't it, Tom?
Absolutely. And I love you.
And what's wrong?
I got a headache. I got a real bad headache.
A sinus headache? You mean like a throbbing pain because your nasal passages are blocked?
Mary, stop. Wait, I mean, I got it from work.
I will get you a Sonutab and a big glass of milk. How'd that be?
Mary, will you please stop sounding like a housewife on a commercial?
I'm sorry.
She can't stop that. That's like the entire
I
show.
could bring you back.
Honey, please. Maybe later, okay?
Tom, you're not telling me everything.
Yeah, I am.
You're stalling.
Yes, he
I'm
is.
hungry is what I am.
What can't you tell me?
Well, I love you.
But you can tell me that.
It may not be as easy as it used to be.
Uh-oh. I have a feeling this means trouble.
Well, they're just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. Would you put them over there for me, honey?
Just feeling guilty as hell that it's me, the one who is.
Charlie Haggers, don't ever let me hear you talk like that. Now, honey, I'm going to need somebody to take care of me when I get out of here. And, well, I just thank the good Lord that you're strong enough to do it.
You've been thinking a lot about the baby? I mean, the fibroid tumor?
Some. But I figure if it wasn't our time, it wasn't our time for a good reason. I mean, maybe we just weren't ready to be a good mom and daddy, you know?
Are you kidding? You would have been the best. You would have been the very best. And she would have looked just like you, too.
Nah, he would have looked just like you. I can just see him now, Charlie Haggers Jr.
Yeah. In his little league outfit.
Bald. Oh, can't you see him playing Little League with no hair on his head?
The mustache, a little mustache.
A baby one. Oh, shoot. Just one little old car wreck isn't going to stop this old country girl, I'll tell you right here and now. Now, as soon as I get out of here, we're going to go back to Nashville. We're going to get that multi-million-dollar contract. I'm going to be making guest appearances on Merv Griffin.
And they're gonna devote the whole 90 minutes to you, too.
They sure will. 'Cause when you're looking at me, you're looking at country.
Mr. Brady?
Haggers, you must have the wrong room.
No. Haggers, of course. I just have the wrong chart.
What?
I mean the wrong name. We have to take Mrs. Brady down now for x-rays.
Haggers!
I'm sorry.
What kind of x-rays? For what? Charlie!
It's all right, honey. It's all right. I won't let anything happen wrong. Don't you worry about it. Now, just calm your mind, honey. Don't worry.
That was very wise, Mr. Hager, reassuring your wife like that. It's always best in these serious cases not to get the patient too alarmed.
Serious cases? What are you talking about?
Mr. Hartman? Mr. Haggers.
You sure you don't want Mr. Brady?
No, not if you're Charles Everett Haggers, who was involved in the vehicular mishap with the nuns.
The what?
The wreck.
Right.
Well, if you've got a couple of minutes, there are some things I'd like to talk to you about.
I think I better be sitting down for this.
That's a really stressful
Nothing to
situation.
worry about, Miss Haggers. Honest, I'm just here on a technicality.
You know, just so long as it isn't any more tragedy or anything. I think my wife and I had just about the right amount of tragedy for now.
No, it's no more tragedy. I'm here about the personal property that was recovered from the crash site.
All right.
Yeah, that is the property that wasn't destroyed in the fire.
In the what?
Okay, you got 2 charred suitcases.
I don't care about the suitcases.
Picnic hamper.
I don't want to tell me about the demonstration record. But they've got to be listed here. I mean, that's our whole future. I mean, I sunk every cent we had in them.
No, I'm sorry. No, I don't believe. Oh wait, the officer on the scene did say that he did find some lump of plastic on the back seat. I don't think they brought that in unless that's it.
That's 6 cuts of country and western. That's our whole future. What am I going to tell Loretta? Well, it's good she's getting her rest. What am I going to do when she wakes up?
You'll help her pull through, I know.
I'll try, but geez, she lost everything in that wreck. I mean, all her Dolly Parton costumes are gone, and her little teddy bear Scruggsy, he was burned up too.
Scruggsy?
Named after Earl Scruggs,
Who?
the best flat picker in the country.
Oh.
Scruggs is great.
And then there's the demonstration record. How am I going to tell her about
Mr. Haggis?
Oh, no.
Oh, I'm Dr. Hastings. Dr. Furman called me to consult in your wife's case. Afraid the diagnosis isn't good.
it? How's that?
Well, we've read the x-rays several times now.
Well, what are you trying to tell me, Doctor?
That surgery will be necessary, Mr. Haggis. And the sooner the better. Well, if the injury is left untreated, Mr. Haggis, I'm afraid your Loretta could be crippled for life.
Oh.
When it rains, it pours.
Oh my
hell?
God. Oh God. Oh no.
What's the matter?
Look, Mom, I'll speak to you in the morning. Okay.
What's the matter?
Loretta's never gonna walk again.
What?
Yes. I mean, if she doesn't have this very dangerous operation, she's never gonna walk again. Oh, how do you feel?
Me? Oh, well, it's, I still got this soreness in the back of my throat, it's working its way out, but it's still there, a little sore,
Is that why you've been, like, staying over there on the other side of the bed?
Yeah, well, maybe I have a fever or something,
Oh.
No.
You feel cool.
Yeah, well, maybe I ought to sleep downstairs.
Why? I won't catch your cold. I have a terrific resistance to cold. I never catch any of others' colds.
Mary, this is different.
What do you mean? Cold is a cold.
It's May.
Me? What do you mean?
I lied.
Tom, whatever it is, you can tell me.
This guy, Frank Garth, he's a union man. Well, he called her up and, at the last minute, and talked her into going out with him. And,
You mean on her birthday she went out with him?
yeah,
Oh,
and she...
that poor woman.
Yeah, and she...
What a terrible, lonely life she leads. I didn't realize that. I mean, Tom, I really hate what you did, but... I mean, if I have to share you with anyone...
Well, you don't have to share him. You don't have to share me at all, I swear.
I mean, I just feel, thank heaven, I'm sharing you with a sad, lonely woman who has to spend her birthday with a stranger.
Mary, that's what I'm trying to tell you. She wasn't with a stranger. Frank Garth was with her. And when he was with her, he had something. And he gave her that something.
Well, it was her birthday, Tom.
Mary, what Frank Garth gave May Alinsky was not a birthday present. It was a venereal disease.
What? Oh, that poor woman. A venereal disease?
Yeah. There's something else I gotta tell you too, Mary.
Tell me.
I mean, I was with May after Frank Garth was with May.
Yeah.
Well, that means that May gave me the venereal disease.
Oh, Tom. No wonder you haven't been feeling well.
Yeah. And Mary, there's something else too I gotta tell you.
What?
You know, last night
Yeah.
when I was with you, I gave it to you.
What?
Mary, I mean, you have a
Venereal disease? I can't believe it. Loretta's never gonna walk again. Tom and May and Mary all have venereal disease. It's beginning to sound like a soap opera.
Well, there we are. The whole world is a sexually transmitted disease. I mean, not that necessarily one exposure means that you are infected, but I guess that's how they treated it on the show. There's a pretty high risk, but no diagnoses, so I guess that's all just assumption on their part. What the heck is up with the hospital? They can't tell a pregnancy from a fibroid tumor. It takes a couple days to figure out that surgery is necessary. Well, maybe, I don't know how long it's actually been, but they don't actually know anybody's name at this place. And to top it off, I mean, I don't know why Loretta and Charlie were traveling with the master tapes. They could have left them somewhere. But I guess that's just how it goes, and that just means trouble, trouble, trouble. That was February 9th episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. Thank you again for joining me on this trip, and we will see you tomorrow night in Fernwood.